we must discuss the grain shipments before the Senate convenes. Indeed, the price fluctuation is becoming a real issue.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the Roman Empire never fell. Instead of becoming a chapter in history books, it continued to grow, adapt, and survive for nearly 2,000 years. The world map would look completely different. Nations we know today might never have existed. Languages would sound different. Technology might have advanced faster in some areas and slower in others. Even your daily life could be shaped by laws first written in ancient Rome. To understand this incredible possibility, we first need to remember what really happened. In reality, the Western Roman Empire collapsed in AD 476 after centuries of political instability, economic decline, military pressure, and repeated invasions by Germanic tribes. The Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, survived for almost another 1,000 years before finally falling in 1453. But today, we're asking a fascinating question. What if neither empire had collapsed? What if Rome found a way to reform itself and remain the world's greatest superpower? Let's begin our journey. It is the late 5th century. Emperor Majorian successfully reforms the army, eliminates corruption, restores the economy, and defeats invading tribes. Instead of being assassinated, he continues ruling for decades. Strong leadership returns stability to the empire. Taxes become fair, roads are repaired, and trade flourishes once again. The Roman Senate regains influence while loyal governors maintain order across distant provinces. The Roman military also changes. Instead of relying heavily on foreign mercenaries, Rome recruits and trains soldiers from every province equally. Better equipment, improved fortifications, and constant military reforms allow the empire to defend its borders successfully. Germanic tribes gradually become Roman citizens rather than conquerors. Without the collapse of the Western Empire, Europe never enters what historians call the Dark Ages. Roman engineering, education, and scientific knowledge continue developing without interruption. Libraries remain open. Aqueducts continue supplying clean water. Roads stay maintained across the continent. Large cities remain centers of learning instead of falling into decline. Latin remains the official language throughout the empire. Over time it changes naturally, but instead of splitting into completely separate languages like French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian, people across Europe still understand a common imperial language with only regional accents. Christianity continues spreading throughout the empire, but because Rome remains politically united, religious conflicts become less destructive. The Church works closely with the imperial government, creating a stable partnership between faith and state. Religious wars that once divided Europe either never happen or remain small regional disputes. As centuries pass, Roman universities become the greatest centers of knowledge on earth. Scholars preserve the discoveries of Greece, Egypt, Persia, and India while making new breakthroughs in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and engineering. Scientific progress never experiences the long interruptions that occurred after Rome's decline. The empire also looks beyond Europe. Roman explorers sail farther into the Atlantic Ocean centuries before Columbus. They establish trading stations along the coast of West Africa and eventually discover the Americas hundreds of years earlier than in our timeline. Imagine Roman ships arriving on Caribbean islands around the 8th or 9th century. Instead of Spanish conquistadors, Roman governors establish colonies. Roads, aqueducts, forums, and amphitheaters begin appearing across the New World. Latin spreads across North and South America. Because contact with the Americas happens gradually through trade rather than sudden conquest, relationships between Romans and native civilizations develop differently. The Aztecs, Maya, and Inca encounter Roman diplomats, merchants, engineers, and soldiers. Some conflicts occur, but many cultures exchange knowledge instead of facing total destruction. The Roman economy becomes the first truly global economic system. Trade routes connect Britain to India, North Africa to China, and eventually Europe to the Americas. Goods, ideas, and inventions travel faster than ever before. China remains one of Rome's greatest rivals. Instead of isolated civilizations separated by enormous distances, the Roman Empire and Chinese dynasties compete for influence across Central Asia. Silk, paper, gunpowder, and printing technology spread much earlier between East and West. This competition encourages innovation. Roman engineers quickly improve Chinese inventions. Gunpowder is adapted for mining, engineering, and eventually military purposes. Printing presses spread education across every province. Literacy rates rise dramatically as books become affordable for ordinary citizens. The Industrial Revolution begins centuries earlier. Roman watermills evolve into steam-powered machines by the 11th or 12th century. Massive factories appear along rivers throughout Europe and North Africa. Cities expand rapidly as manufacturing transforms the economy. Railways are built using engineering principles inherited directly from Roman road construction. Instead of horse-drawn wagons, steam trains connect every province of the empire. Travel that once required weeks now takes only days. Political reforms continue as the empire grows. Governing millions of people across 3 continents requires new ideas. Provincial assemblies gain greater authority while the emperor becomes more like a constitutional ruler than an absolute monarch. Citizens elect local representatives who help shape imperial policies. Citizenship becomes one of the empire's greatest strengths. Anyone willing to serve Rome, follow its laws, and contribute to society can eventually become a Roman citizen regardless of birthplace, language, or ethnicity. This inclusive system reduces rebellion and strengthens loyalty across diverse populations. Slavery gradually disappears. As technology advances and machines replace manual labor, economic dependence on slavery declines. Philosophers argue that all citizens deserve equal legal protection. Over several centuries, slavery becomes illegal throughout the empire. Medicine improves dramatically. Roman doctors combine Greek knowledge with discoveries from Persia, India, and China. Hospitals become common in every major city. Clean water systems and advanced sanitation reduce deadly diseases. Average life expectancy increases significantly. Architecture reaches astonishing heights. Imagine skyscraper-sized marble towers built with reinforced concrete, solar-powered forums inspired by ancient temples, and enormous domed cities protected from harsh weather. Every major city reflects a blend of classical beauty and futuristic engineering. Space exploration eventually becomes the empire's greatest ambition. By the 21st century, instead of independent national space agencies competing with one another, the Imperial Roman Space Administration coordinates missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Astronauts wear the eagle symbol of Rome on their uniforms. Spacecraft carry Latin names honoring emperors, philosophers, and legendary heroes. Permanent research colonies exist on Mars, serving as the newest frontier of Roman civilization. Military power also evolves. Rather than legions marching with swords and shields, modern Roman legions use advanced robotics, artificial intelligence, drones, cyber defense systems, and space-based surveillance. Yet they still proudly carry the standards of the ancient eagle, connecting thousands of years of tradition with cutting-edge technology. The world itself looks very different. There are fewer independent countries because much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East remain provinces within the Roman Empire. Borders are more stable, reducing many of the wars that shaped our history. Without hundreds of competing European kingdoms, famous conflicts such as the 100 Years' War, many religious wars, and perhaps even the First and Second World Wars might never happen. Countless millions of lives could be saved. However, this world would not be perfect. A single empire ruling such a vast territory faces enormous challenges. Corruption never completely disappears. Some provinces demand greater independence. Political rivalries continue inside the Senate. Economic inequality grows between wealthy cities and distant frontier regions. Powerful emperors sometimes attempt to centralize authority too much, while reformers push for greater democracy. The balance between freedom and security becomes an ongoing political debate lasting for centuries. Cultural diversity also creates tension. Local traditions compete with imperial identity. Some regions wish to preserve their ancient customs while others fully embrace Roman culture. Managing this diversity requires constant compromise. Technological progress introduces new dangers as well. Artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, cyber warfare, and climate change challenge even the world's oldest and most experienced government. Still, one thing remains constant. The Roman motto, Senatus Populus Romanus, meaning the Senate and the people of Rome, continues inspiring billions of citizens across the globe. Children learn about Julius Caesar, Augustus, Trajan, Marcus Aurelius, and countless other leaders not as distant historical figures, but as the founders of the nation they still call home. Tourists visit the original Roman Forum not as ancient ruins but as the oldest functioning government district on Earth. The Colosseum still hosts grand public ceremonies after nearly 2,000 years. Ancient roads continue carrying modern electric vehicles. Aqueduct,